So I love to eat pizza, and in space, we like to eat pizza. So to get started, I'm going to show you a short video on how we make, cook, and eat pizza in space. Are you ready? You ready? How did that look? So astronauts work really hard, but we also like to have fun. And in that video, you saw different astronauts. We had some from America, we had some from Italy, and then we had our Russian partners as well, because this is on the International Space Station, and it really is an international endeavor. So, because I was a school teacher before, I'm going to try to talk less so we can hear your questions. And so I'm going to show you one more video that is going to talk about my last mission in space. So the last time I went, I spent 6 months on the International Space Station. And so I'm going to show you 6 months in 6 minutes. So it's going to be fast. So here you're going to see my launch from Kazakhstan, and I launched on a Russian Soyuz rocket. And it takes 8 minutes to get into space, and that's what the Earth looks like from space. And then that was my home for 6 months, the International Space Station. So we launch, we get into space in 8 minutes, and then a few hours later, we dock to the International Space Station, and then we come to our new home where we're gonna live for 6 months. So why do we go to space? We go to space so that we can learn, so we can conduct science. So almost all of our time, we're doing science. Here we're learning how fire behaves in space, and we're doing that so we can make life here on Earth better. This is one of my crewmates, Mark Vandehei. He's trying to separate water from air. One of my experiments that was very, very stressful was growing plants, because I didn't want to kill the plants, but you can see it was quite delicious, so I was successful. We also do outreach with students. Here we were working with the university, and they were programming these little spheres that would float around the space station. This is another one that students sent up experiments. We put them in an airlock, and then we shoot them back to Earth to collect data. Yes, sir. And then we also are still learning about the human body, and so we do a lot of experiments on our bodies. We draw blood, we have a really cold freezer that we can store it, and then we bring it back to Earth so the scientists can study it. So we are still learning even after having gone to space for the last 50 years. We have to stay strong while we're in space. So every day we have to work out for 2 hours. So we have this machine that feels like you're lifting weights. We also have a treadmill, and then we have a bicycle that we have to ride. So every day we get to work out for 2 hours. It's totally awesome. Here is Mark on a treadmill. This treadmill was actually on the wall. And when you're in space, you can't tell if you're on the floor, if you're on the wall, like you can see there, or if you're up on the ceiling. And that is our bicycle. So how do we get food, water, the experiments up in space? We have what we call visiting vehicles that will launch from out in Florida, the United States. It will send up a rocket and a spacecraft, and then we have to grab it with the robotic arm, and then we attach it to the space station, and that's where we get all of our food. That's where we got our pizza from. And so we're really excited when those show up. Sometimes they'll give us ice cream. So when those things show up, it's a good day. And then we can just throw bags around because we're all floating in space, so it's pretty cool. And then sometimes, if repairs have to be done, we go outside of the space station, which is kind of scary, I won't lie, and we do spacewalks. And so we put on a spacesuit, and then we go out and we'll spend about 6 or 7 hours on the outside of the space station. And there you can see me working out there. The space station is really big. I hopped on the robotic arm and somebody got to fly me around. We're doing repairs. So it's one of the most exciting things that we do, and probably one of the most dangerous as well. When you're sitting on an arm, you can see me up there, really, really small compared to the whole space station. And then after about 6 or 7 hours, we come back inside. We haven't eaten, so it's good to take off the suit and get some food. And here I just want to show you a couple of minutes of Earth from the space station. I have to pause there for a second. How'd you like the views? Good? All right, what were those lights called? Anybody know? Did they get it right, teachers? Did they know? So we can either call them the northern lights, we call them the auroras. Pretty spectacular when you see those from space. All right, and then here we go. After 6 months, it's time to hand over the keys to the space station to a new crew, and then we hop back in our Soyuz and we come back to Earth. It's always hard going from the big space station, and you'll see how small the Soyuz is. So it's pretty tight and pretty tiny. Then we undock, and then we come in through the Earth's atmosphere, and you'll see looking out the window, that's what it looks like. It looks scary, but that is normal. That's how we control the heat. Then we have a parachute, and then we land. And for us, it was in the wintertime, so you can see it was very cold, but it felt so great to come back to Earth, feel the wind, smell our beautiful planet. It is great coming back home. They have a lot of people that will take care of us, and then we hop on a plane, and then we come back to Houston, Texas. So that was 6 months in space in 6 minutes. All right, So I think I'm ready. If we have questions, we have a way to do that, right? And I have a couple of more videos that I can show you later, but let's see if we can start with a couple of questions and then we'll go from there.
Sorry. I'll just call out the names. We are going to start from standard 4. The first one is Said Ayan Aftab. If you have any question for sir, you there? You there? Yes. We'll get the mic for you there. Said Ayan Aftab from Standard 4. So he has a question.
Hello, Miss.
Yes, you're doing great.
Baba, hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
It's an honor to see you. Of course, I've heard about you everywhere. So today I have a question for you. During your space missions, have you ever worried about not coming back to Earth? How did you handle those thoughts?
It's risky and it can be very dangerous, but we train for a long time. We train for about 2 years before we go to the space station, and there's a big group of people that work in mission control that are always looking out for our safety. So I'm not really afraid or worried about coming back home, because working as a team, I know there are people that are looking out for my safety. Nope, I would say we're not really afraid. The only time is when you go out and do a spacewalk, it can be kind of scary. So thanks for that wonderful question.
Thank you, sir. Yes, next one is from Standard 5. It's Manha.
Good morning, Mr. Akaba. My name is Manha. How are you?
There you are, I found you. I'm great, how are you?
I'm doing great. Makes me so fortunate. So, I have a question for you. After spending time in space, what was the most challenging part of
living in space, and we're in that microgravity environment, so we're floating around, and we do have to exercise, like I said, for 2 hours every day to keep our bones and our muscles strong. But after 6 months, when you come back to Earth, it is really hard on the body, because now you have gravity that is pulling you down. Everything feels heavy. Your head feels heavy, your gloves feel heavy, and you wonder, how do humans live on Earth? Because gravity is pretty strong, but after a couple of days, you kind of feel a little bit better. Maybe a week or two, you're almost back to 100%. The other part, other than gravity, is the balance in the inner part of your ear. For me, whenever I come back from space, like the first 24 hours, if I stand up, I want to throw up. And if I lay down, I feel great. But after about a day, I feel totally normal. So the human body is amazing. It adapts when you get to space, and it adapts when you come back. Thanks for that